Now at 5, Joplin police released new details on yesterday's fatal crash on I-44. Plus, a federal judge rules on a lawsuit involving Oklahoma's method of lethal injection executions. And Missouri Southern launches a new degree program aimed at helping adults finish their degrees.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin police released the name of a Carthage man killed in yesterday's crash on Interstate 44. This is KOAM News at 5. The crash happened just before 2:30 yesterday morning. Police say 44-year-old Juan Fuentes Jr. was driving a motorized scooter in the outside lane of I-44 eastbound when he lost control, crashed, and was thrown from the scooter. Authorities say Fuentes was then struck by multiple passing vehicles. Crash closed the interstate for 3.5 hours. At last report, the Joplin Police Major Crash Team was still looking for witnesses who might have witnessed the initial crash. A federal judge in Oklahoma says the state's 3-drug lethal injection method is constitutional. The ruling paves the way for the state to request execution dates for more than 24 death row inmates who were plaintiffs in the case. Attorneys for those inmates are expected to appeal the ruling. They argue the first of the 3 drugs, the sedative midazolam, is not enough to render an inmate unable to feel pain. Attorneys for the state, they rejected that argument. It's a day for some new beginnings at Pitt State. An orientation program for new students happened. Also, it happened to coincide with the first day of the job for PSU President Daniel Shipp. Shipp says he's excited to begin the school year and meet more people in the community. His goal is to listen and lean in to try to understand further the unique DNA of Pittsburgh State University.
So I'm a big believer in what you learn in the classroom is helpful toward how you apply it out in the real world. And so I wanted to work and serve at an institution that really cared about that.
President Shipp says part of the reason he chose Pittsburgh was because his son thinks gorillas are cool. Missouri Southern's introducing a new program to help adults get their degrees. The university is launching a new adult degree completion program this fall. That new program will allow for greater flexibility for adult students to get their bachelor's or even master's degrees.
We are trying to create a program focused just on them. So the curriculum will be accelerated, 8 weeks online. We're trying to reduce any hurdles that they may have, either with admissions or the financial aid office, so that they get pretty much a tailored service for them.
We're going to hear more about the new program and some unique challenges for adults returning to school tonight at 6. An area tribal leader is being commemorated on coins. Wilma Mankiller was the first woman to serve as principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, and today the U.S. Mint released the 3rd of its American Women Quarters program featuring Mankiller. Officials say the depiction shows Mankiller in a traditional shawl looking to the future with the 7-point star of the Cherokee Nation at her side. Let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's turned out to be a very warm and muggy Monday after more showers and thunderstorms. Big old batch drove on through during the overnight hours last night into the morning hours. We had some morning clouds and then we broke out and now we have partly sunny skies. But look at this, more thunderstorms building out across southeastern parts of Colorado into southwestern Kansas. Another little batch up through parts of Nebraska. And yet again, those are going to try to head toward us late tonight into the morning hours. The evening hours look great. You can see 80s, lower 80s across Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, down through northwestern Arkansas. We'll drop back through the 70s, eventually near 70 by midnight, and then into the upper 60s later on tonight. Of course, numerous rounds of storms this week. We're going to look at it here in just a bit.
See you then. More than a dozen people were killed this past weekend in shootings across our country. Congress could be ready to vote on a new gun control bill this week, though it remains to be seen what, if any, new measures will ultimately make it to the president's desk. Serena Marshall reports from the White House.
It is enough.
Amid an outbreak of deadly mass shootings over the weekend, the district attorney of Philadelphia is calling for change.
Any legislator who is not willing to put the lives of innocent bystanders, of women and children, and young adults above their political future belongs out of office.
Demands for federal gun control legislation continue to grow, including from the White House, where President Biden has been pushing for universal background checks, federal red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban, or at least raising the age to purchase one to 21. A new CBS News poll shows a majority of Americans also support those provisions.
We have structurally problems when you have large disconnects between what voters say they want and what happens in the U.S. Congress.
The House could pass a broad gun reform package that contains the president's wish list as soon as this week, but is unlikely to make it through the evenly divided Senate.
A bipartisan group of senators has expressed optimism negotiating towards a more narrow bill, which also could include mental health and school safety provisions.
Those core components, I hope, will be part of a package that we can get 60 votes to pass.
In the meantime, some Democratic-led states are taking their own action.
We're raising the age of semi-automatic weapons so no 18-year-old can walk in on their birthday and walk out with an AR-15.
Monday, New York's governor signed a package of gun reform bills into law. Serena Marshall, CBS News, the White House.
Starting tomorrow, Congress will hold multiple public hearings examining recent gun massacres in the U.S. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson survived a challenge from his own party today that could have forced him out of office. Fellow members of Johnson's Conservative Party held a so-called no-confidence vote following a series of scandals. While Johnson received more than the simple majority needed to stay in office, a significant number of party members did vote against him, casting some doubt on his future. Coming up in Healthwatch, a first-of-its-kind clinic.
The nation's first specialty clinic for women who have experienced stillbirth is opening. I'm Michael George with one family's personal story and their advice for parents.
And later, an inside look at how airlines are dealing with an uptick in travelers. Topping today's Health Watch, a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine says a treatment used for diabetes might also help with weight loss. According to that study, tirzepatide may be able to help adults with obesity who are overweight, help them to lose weight. In the 72-week study, participants were able to lose 15 to 20% of their starting body weight. The medicine just recently got the stamp of approval from the FDA to treat diabetes too, but study participants did not have diabetes. A new study finds overall cancer screenings in the U.S. declined significantly during the pandemic. Research at the American Cancer Society confirms drop-offs by the millions in screening rates for breast, cervical, and colorectal cancer during 2020. The results show the decline in screening disproportionately impacted people of color and people of low income. Every year, more than 20,000 pregnancies nationwide result in stillbirth. Well, now a first-of-its-kind clinic is opening in the U.S. for women and their families who've experienced this heartbreaking tragedy. Reporter Michael George speaks with one family about their loss and what helped them get through it.
For Marnie Smith and her husband Michael, 1-year-old Zosha is the light of their life.
And on that farm.
They suffered unfathomable loss on the journey to parenthood. In 2019, their son Heath was stillborn at nearly 37 weeks.
We were completely shattered, devastated. You know, it's supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life. And with the flip of a switch, it turns into a nightmare.
Marnie says when she was pregnant with Zosha, her anxiety was the biggest challenge. Now, the first clinic in the nation is being established to support women and their families who've experienced stillbirth.
It really is addressing not only the medical needs of the patient, but also, the emotional needs.
The Mount Sinai Rainbow Clinic is a collaboration with the group Push for Empowered Pregnancy. Dr. Joanne Stone says the goal is to provide state-of-the-art care and psychological support for women during future pregnancies to help reduce fear and anxiety, and also to prevent another loss.
To investigate as thoroughly as possible the causes of stillbirth. In the case of unexplained, we sort of outline a plan that really involves much closer surveillance. We have test ultrasound ways of monitoring the fetus.
Marnie says talking with other parents who went through the same loss also really helped.
Hearing that I was not alone was everything, because Stillbirth is not something that's talked about.
Marnie wears this necklace to remember Heath, and the family grows morning glory flowers to mark his birth month. Michael George, CBS News.
Research shows with increased awareness, support, and high-quality care, more than a quarter of stillbirths in the U.S. are preventable. The Rainbow Clinic model started in the UK, and Mount Sinai says it hopes more healthcare centers will establish clinics to reduce stillbirths. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, how a town in France is celebrating the anniversary of D-Day and honoring those who served on that day.
Plus, we have more showers and thunderstorms heading toward us. We're going to break this down coming up. Well, of course, more showers and thunderstorms rolled in for us last night into the morning hours. And again, some heavy amounts of rain, 3/4 of an inch of rain at the Joplin Airport. This puts us at 2 inches already for the month of June. It's the 6th. So, I mean, a lot of rain so far for the month. For the year, almost 28 inches. We average about 20, so we're above by almost 8 inches of rain. Nice afternoon. It's turned out pretty good. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Allergies, though, due to the showers and thunderstorms this morning, it kind of washed out the atmosphere. So on a scale of 1 to 10, today's only a 1, but they creep right back up tomorrow, a 7 out of 10 across the region. All right, zooming in, temperatures right now, we're sitting at 81, southerly winds at about 10 to 15. Most of the metro is sitting into the lower 80s, a little bit warmer once you get into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. And this is pretty much the case from Stockton down to Bella Vista, out toward Nowata. Yates Center is sitting at about to 84 degrees. Through the evening hours, we slip back into the 70s, eventually upper 60s a little bit later on tonight. And after we got rid of all those showers and thunderstorms and the clouds, we've had partly sunny skies as we have rolled through the daytime hours. All this rain we had earlier heading east, but look what's going on out toward the west. More showers, thunderstorms building parts of Colorado and then stretching up into Nebraska. And it's this batch in eastern Colorado that we're going to have to keep our eyes on as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight for another big band of showers and thunderstorms. If you have any evening plans, looks fine. We're going to stay dry. Here's midnight. We'll watch late tonight into the morning hours. Here's 4:30 in the morning. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, most likely not too strong or severe. As these drive in during the morning, they will die, but we are going to have those scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. As we get into the afternoon hours, a few isolated little thunderstorms will try to pop up, but in general, I think tomorrow looks pretty good. 67 to start, 77 by noon, high temp of 84. So those isolated evening thunderstorms, not too strong, not severe, and then as we get into the overnight hours, here we go again. Another big batch. Showers and thunderstorms drive in a little bit more widespread tomorrow night. Some of these could be strong to possibly severe as we go into Wednesday morning, and then these will work out, a few more isolated thunderstorms, and then we're going to get another batch by the time we head into Thursday. So wet week, we don't really need any rain right now, even though we're going to get the rain. I think over the next few days, we could be looking at, most of us, about 2 to 5 inches of rain, which is something we don't need. 84 for us tomorrow. Morning storms, a few isolated afternoon. Morning storms on Wednesday, afternoon storms on Thursday. Another big batch drives in Thursday night into Friday morning. Those as well could be severe. But look at the weekend. When we clear out, looks pretty good.
The ground will be as soggy as a wet sponge.
Oh, yeah.
But the skies will be clear.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Thanks, Doc. Very few World War II veterans from the U.S. made it to France this year to mark the 78th anniversary of D-Day, that is today. But those who did say their memories from that battle are still vivid. Back in 1944, an Allied armada floated off Normandy as troops landed on the beaches. Congress approved the Congressional Gold Medal to be presented to Army Rangers of World War II who stormed the beaches of Normandy. Here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Check it out anytime on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com/power. Coming up, how airlines are dealing with a surge in travelers. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Amos Hicks served in the U.S. Army during World War I and received a Purple Heart. The Bentonville, Arkansas native was stationed in the Philippines and Korea, and we salute Private First Class Amos Hicks, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the FTC is warning that 1 out of every $4 lost to fraud is related to cryptocurrency scams. More than $1 billion has been stolen from 46,000 people since the start of 2021. That's according to a new FTC report. Cryptocurrency scammers typically target a younger age group for victims. The FTC says those aged 25 through 40 are 3 times more likely to lose money due to fraud, and much of it involves Bitcoin. After thousands of flight cancellations over Memorial Day weekend, airlines scrambling to fix things as the summer travel season kicks off. Reporter Pete Montine went inside one of the major airlines at Reagan National Airport to see just how they're coping.
With summer travel already heating up across the country, the world's largest airline is vowing it will not melt down.
We have to be nimble.
On an exclusive tour of American Airlines Operations Center, hundreds worked behind the scenes to avoid canceling flights as an unexpected thunderstorm popped up over Dallas.
This is the person that's making the calls, okay?
Chief Operating Officer David Seymour showed me how dispatchers diverted arriving flights and reshuffled flight crews so departing flights were ready as soon as the weather cleared.
How confident are you that the summer will be a smooth one when it comes to travel?
I'm confident. I think that my team is confident, but we're not overconfident.
U.S. Airlines canceled more than 2,700 flights over Memorial Day weekend and delayed another 21,000 nationwide. Delta Airlines led cancellations after saying it will scale back its summer schedule, with coronavirus causing higher than planned worker absences.
We added capacity coming into the spring. Memorial Day was the first full test of it, and we did see with some challenges.
Crew shortages have hobbled the airline industry. A CNN analysis of the latest federal data shows the largest 4 airlines with 24,000 fewer workers than before the pandemic.
It's a perfect storm. There's staffing shortages and weather issues.
We saw a lot of airlines during the pandemic thinning out their schedules and thinning out their workforce, not knowing when demand was going to return. Now, faster than expected, the demand has come roaring back and they are struggling to keep up.
Which for us is big.
American Airlines says it has hired 12,000 new workers in the last year. Now the question is whether airlines have prepared enough for passengers packing planes at levels not seen since before the pandemic.
You can't let your guard down. We have the resources to run the airline, and that's the key thing for us.
One travel tip from the experts: book a non-stop flight if you can. That 1-hour layover just might not cut it these days. JetBlue wants to acquire Spirit Airlines, and the company is now increasing its offer to buy the low-cost carrier. Last month, Spirit rejected an offer from JetBlue, saying it didn't think government regulators would approve the deal. Spirit decided to move forward with a merger with fellow budget airline Frontier instead. Today, JetBlue raised the terms of its deal, offering an additional $1.50 per share. Spirit said its board would consider the proposal. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, we're going to meet some of the athletes competing in this year's Special Olympics USA Games. Then on KOAM News at 6, a different law enforcement agency takes over the search for 3 escaped Berry County inmates. Plus, how the city of Miami is trying to address flooding issues affecting parts of that city. And Missouri Southern hosts a sports academy for area kids. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Look to the sky at the moment. You see some blue and some fluffy white clouds, and it looks pretty nice, Doug.
It does. We're sitting into the 80s right now. It looks pretty good as we go through the evening hours. I know I forgot to get the 7-day up. I was messing with maps. But unfortunately, more rain. Showers, thunderstorms again late tonight. Showers, thunderstorms again tomorrow night. So a wet week And we need a chance to try out already.
We do. We're just not going to get it. Not for a while anyway. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.